Okay, so now that you have completed soldering all of the resistors on your board, we are going to move on to the LEDs. There are 8 places for red LEDs on this board. Please refer to page 4, step 4. Let's see how that's working out here. So we have step 4 of your booklet. Let's try a different camera view here. So step 4 of your booklet, showing the LED installation on the My Place project. Now, notice that LEDs are polarity sensitive. So there's some documentation in your book that explains which is positive and negative. It also says to look inside the clear glass on the LED. You can, it's not, some LEDs are different, but we are going to go with the long lead is the positive side. So let's look at this. Here we have an LED, and we'll see that one side is longer. That will be our positive side. Now, that positive side, there is a schematic symbol in your book, figure 5. So if we look at figure 5, we'll see that the curved side is the positive side. So when we install these, we are going to install the longer side onto the curved side on the board. So let's look on the board. Here we have the board. Notice I already have my red LEDs installed. But if we look here, we're just going to pick one, and we'll pick this LED slot here. Notice the curved side is going to be the positive. So we are going to take the long side of the LED and insert into the board, making sure that the long side matches up with the curved side. Okay, so now once we have soldered all the boards, first you're going to do LED 1 through 8, the red ones. You will have a couple left over. Do not cut them off while you solder. We're going to leave them long. So let's look on the back of our boards. Take a close view here. So now that we've installed our LEDs, notice none of them are cut off. See how they're all sticking out? And you will have some left over in case something happens. If you have to desolder one of these, just throw it away. Usually the heat will ruin it. If you have a spare one, you should have 2 spare. Just insert those. So now it's time to test our board once we've installed everything. And this is under page 5 of the instruction, test the LEDs. But we're simply going to hook this up. We first are going to hook our 9-volt battery. We're going to hook our red lead onto the positive anode of this. If you'll notice, there's some designators here on the outside. That's what that dash is. That's the negative. So they did put us some little indicators. And we'll see that this inside one here is longer, and that is the positive. So we're going to take our red lead and hook to the positive. You might want to pull these apart. If they're touch, you're going to short out. So we're going to hook here. From there, we are going to install our, I believe, 84 or 82 ohm resistor in our pack. That will be in the control board back. We're going to clip one red lead here. We're going to go through this resistor. That's going to drop our voltage because LEDs typically all run on 5 volts. And we're going to be hooking it to a 9-volt battery. From there, we are going to hook one end of our 9-volt battery lead to the red. From there, we're going to clip a black alligator clip onto the negative side. And we are going to come over here to the other side of our board because electricity flows through all of these resistors all the way across the board and all the way down and back over. So anywhere we hook is going to power up the LEDs that we have installed so far. So I'm going to come over here and hook on the outside because that's the negative on this side. And so once I do that, I'll be able to install my 9-volt battery. Make sure you install it correctly. It's got, it only goes on there one way. So we're going to install it. Now we have our LEDs beginning to light up on the board. Notice some of my LEDs are not lighting up. So I have a problem on my board somewhere. I'm going to see if I can troubleshoot that. It was working earlier. So somewhere on my board I have a problem. I'm going to troubleshoot that and see what's going on there. One thing you want to notice when you're hooking these LEDs up is if you solder just one side, I know it's hard to see here. Let's see how close we can get. If you solder just one side of the board or one side of the LED, that's going to let you reposition the other side. Otherwise, you might end up with them a little crooked. See how that one right there is a little crooked before? So if you solder just one side, you can get them flush and then straighten up and then solder the other side. Now when you solder on the boards, I like to use, as I solder, you might use a pair of your tools to prop up that board. But solder one side and then you can straighten it up and then solder the next side on the circuit.